Hello, dreamers, and welcome back to Dream Queen by Perla. As always, guys, thank you for all your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, I encourage you to do so. It helps with growing the channel, getting the video out there for more people, as well as keeping me accountable. For personal readings, all that information can be found down below in the description. So we have Cancer, Leo, Cusp, and change your perspective on a situation. Um, there's something that you're not seeing clearly, or that you're choosing not to see clearly. There is a situation here of see, now whatever fogginess or clear, whatever it was that was bothering my right eye is gone by taking 2 seconds to clean my glasses. So whether this is let's go ahead and see, because I just keep hearing you have to change your perception, or you have to look at something clearly, or it's like you're not seeing the reason. So you okay, so this may have been in regards to some type of loss, whether you lost somebody, like, you know, somebody passing away or somebody leaving, right? Breakup or whatever it is, whether this was like a financial loss or whatever it is that you have lost. There is a there is a needing to understand that the loss was not meant to break you, but your testimonial from what it is that you have lost and how you will rebuild and get back up. Okay. And I'm like freaking scared right now. And what I mean by that is the energy of fear literally just came in, right? I'm not scared in that sense. And when I say certain things, like, you know, I have a headache, I have this, I'm talking, when I'm doing videos, I'm talking in relation to the energy that I'm picking up at that moment, right? So like right now, I was just literally poured with fear. How are you going to get past this? How are you going to this? How are you going to that? And then it's the thing is, like, the more you feed the fear, the harder it, like, the more it keeps you constricted, like, kind of like, without allowing you to get into a space of faith and knowing that everything will work in your favor. So and when I say things like that, again, like, for a quick second, before you assume anything, ask yourself, is there a different way to look at this? Is there a perceptive or a perception of this situation that I may not have given it a thought, or that I may have not given it a chance? Because a lot of times when people are in these situations where they feel like they have had a major loss, right? And it's not to minimize any type of loss, right? It can be, again, losing someone, whether they passed away or whether they left you. This can be losing finances, losing your career, losing your house, losing your car, whatever it is, right? Maybe you felt like you lost yourself in a relationship. Maybe you felt like you lost yourself by having kids. Maybe you felt like you lost yourself by, you know, being a stay-at-home mom, or being a stay-at-home dad, or by getting married, or by getting engaged, whatever it is. A loss is a loss, right? And it brings in that same energy where then you are afraid of losing more, that sometimes you just kind of stand still. You kind of freeze up, right? Because it's like, okay, if I make any movement, I'm jeopardizing, or I'm putting myself at risk to lose more. And that is kind of like the energy that you need to get out of this week, right? Whether you lost something a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, whatever it is, let's start slowly, let's put it this way, to whether it is, let's put it this way, start speaking faith into yourself. And I'm sorry, guys, I just have to take a quick look, because I forgot the kids have a well, some of the kids have a half day today. Um, and I just gotta make sure this alarm doesn't go off. Anyways, what was I saying? Regardless of whatever the loss is or how long it has been, you have to start speaking faith into your life, right? And how do you do that? It's very simple, right? However it is that you do it, right? Whether you're praying, whether you're meditating, whether you're writing a spell, whatever tickles your fancy is what you do, right? Spells and prayers to me are the same exact thing, but that's another topic. So what it is, right? You'll say like, I know that, things are going to get better, or I have faith that things are going to get better, or things are getting better every day. Things are getting better every day. I am getting better. And it doesn't have to be those specific words. When it comes to, right, like when it comes to doing affirmations and doing prayers and things like that, yes, there are tons that you can find online, but the best ones that usually work are the ones that come from within, because then you use words that you are comfortable with or you are familiar with. And then yes, it may have to be that in a couple of weeks or in a couple of months you may change those words, right? But sometimes it's like, if you're using words that you're not used to using, right, or that you're not comfortable with, right, and you're saying them, you can say them 100 times, but if within yourself you don't believe it, is not going to work, right? So another very simple tool, or a simple way of doing it if you're really finding yourself stuck, is look at the situation where you're at. Write down where it is that you want to be at when it comes into regards to this loss, right? Now, this is where it gets tricky. Some people are able to bring their vibration like skyrocket high by doing certain things. Personally, when it comes to dance, right? I can get, dance can get me into so many different trance, right? To connect in different ways, right? Because it allows me to feel, right? And so let's put it this way: if you wait until you feel like you're in a high vibrant type of energy, or you get yourself there, you play that playlist that gets you pumping, that gets you excited, or whatever it is. Now once you feel like you're there in your happy space, right, when you're feeling that joy or that bliss, whatever it is that you want to call it, you go ahead and you record yourself saying what it is that you wrote down, what it is that you want, that affirmation or that prayer that you wrote down, right? A lot of the phones have like voice recorders and things like that, and it doesn't have to be something like 5 minutes or anything like that. A couple of sentences you can start with. Now what you would do is you would take that recording and you will listen to it. Now, how many times you listen to it a day is up to you. Maybe you want to listen to it every morning before getting out of bed. Maybe you want to listen to it every night before you go to bed. Maybe you want to listen to it twice. Maybe you want to take a couple of minutes every day and listen to it. But the thing is that sometimes when you're hearing your own voice saying something repetitively, right, you start to kind of, how can I and I need to talk. I know I have to make a video about this because I know I want to tell people about this, but it does something to your brain where it just receives it better, right? So everybody knows I'm huge. I always talk about like meditation and stuff like that, right? I prefer silent meditation, right, in nature, or just complete silence. But I do guided meditations as well, right? So I support, there's a lot of people on, well, not a lot, but there's a couple of people on YouTube that have meditation pages that I support. So I do listen to them, right? But for me, whenever I want to change or I want to shift or I want to move away from a certain perspective, or I'm struggling through something, I literally speak it out, right? And this is one of the practices that I did when I was first starting to get into everything that I'm into now, right? Where there was this silent, let's put it this way, fear within me that I didn't even recognize, that regardless of how many affirmations I would say, regardless of how many guided meditations I would listen to, it just didn't feel real. It didn't feel truth, right? So one day I was sitting there and I remember I got up, which was, it wasn't crazy, but I had gotten up like around 4 a.m, right? And I was just like wired, right? I was dancing. I was super excited. I was super happy. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, what the fuck is this coming from? Like, I was just sleeping, right? And I sat down and I started at that moment writing what it is that I wanted to, what it is, where it is that I wanted my life to go, right? And then as I'm writing it, I hear this little whisper, record it. And I'm like, record it? Record it. I'm like, record it? Record it. I'm like, okay. So I started recording myself saying it, right? But I was already at that, in that energy field, right? That frequency. And then I'm like, okay, after I was done, I was like, what the heck am I supposed to do with this? And then it was like, listen to it. And to be honest with you, everything that I wrote down on that list, I manifested within like less than a week. So what I'm trying to say is that a lot of times, we tend to give tools and things like that, right? But the best tools or the best things that you can do for any changes, especially when you're dealing with a loss, is what's inside and listening to what it is that is inside of you. So let's go ahead and let's pull out, because we got kind of sidetracked with some stories there. But let's go ahead and let's pull out some tarot for you guys. So we have the Lovers in the reverse, the Judgment in the upright, and then we have the Emperor in the reverse. So this is almost kind of like the situation of like, nothing is going to magically fix itself, right? And when I say that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go crazy doing things, right? A lot of the times, the main key or the main component to changing our reality or changing our situation is right here, right? Our thoughts. Because our thoughts become what we say, and what we say we send out, and what we send out is what we receive back. So if at the moment you feel that there's nothing physically or anything that you can physically do to remedy or fix a situation, then start right here. Start with your thoughts. Start with you, right? Start with you. Because our life, right? Our lifestyle, our reality is a reflection of what's going on in here. And that's kind of like the energy that you have to kind of, or the perception that you're being asked to look into. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull out a love card. Now for the love energy, this can be romantic, this can be platonic, this can be self-love, or this can be passion for work, for hobby, etc. We have, this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. And what I like about this could be the one, whether it's in a relationship or not, it always goes back to yourself. The way that you treat yourself, the way that you love yourself, the way that you take care of yourself, the way that you show up for yourself, the way that you respect yourself, the way that you set boundaries for yourself is the same way that that significant other, that romantic partner is going to show up. So if you have been waiting for somebody to show up, right, or you have been waiting for situations to change, then what is it that you're feeding that situation at this moment? And the minute that you start feeding it what it is that you want to receive, you'll receive it. So let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card as your closing message. Haunted. Now let me stop. Number 21. The breaking of the floor beneath your naked feet. The creaking of the walls as the cold kisses flesh. You're never really alone when in the company of hauntings within bone. So, before you go crazy thinking that's, there's ghosts or whatever hunting you, that's not what this means, right? We're talking about those things within ourselves, right? Those thought patterns, those behaviors, those things that we're trying to better within ourselves, those things that we're trying to become aware of, those things that we're trying to expand, those things that we're trying to grow into, right? Those are the things that are hunting, right? Well, that didn't work, so probably this won't, right? Those thoughts that you need to learn to walk away from. And it is going to take a lot of work from you, like it's going to take a lot of mental and spiritual work in combination, right? Because it's never one or the other. There has to be a balance, and that is what you're being asked to look into this week. Well, guys, that is all that I have. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all. Mwah. Bye-bye.